enjoying life and going with the flow.
What's up? And we are live. All right. We are going to have as our guest today a pro wrestling referee. Just play the waiting game for a second and just chill. Enjoy this nice sun, this nice fresh air, and yeah, maybe get some more push-ups done. Fuck it. I aim to do 1,000 push-ups every day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 37, 38, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 54, 56, 58, 59, 60. Ooh. Let's get 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 70. I bet you just wasted that last 30 seconds. I used it to better myself. Damn, my hair is kind of a mess. I didn't think it was this bad. That's all right. It's only Instagram. All right. Let's see if we can get him on now. Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Hello. Can you turn your
Yeah,
turn the phone
sorry.
off?
One
Yeah.
moment.
Perfect. Thank you.
How's that going?
Awesome. Good. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I've tried to get you via the laptop, but for some reason, not working.
Yeah, maybe laptop just doesn't work. Maybe it's just a mobile feature. I'm not really
Who
sure.
knows?
Um,
Who
I never
knows?
tried it on the laptop, so
Well, I can tell you, I just tried, and it did
did
not
not
work.
work. Well, then I guess from your experience, I already learned, you know,
It's a
and
learning experience for everybody.
exactly. Warren Buffett has a quote. He says, "We learn from mistakes, but they don't have to be our own."
Yes? Yeah?
So, not that
What
that
did
was a
Jimmy Buffett
mistake, but
say?
it's like, what?
What did Jimmy Buffett say? Was it anything like that?
Uh, I think he said it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I think something about Margaritaville. I don't quite remember.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. He's not quite as financially savvy, I don't think.
He's up there.
No, a little bit of a gap. So you're out of the UK, correct?
I am.
Okay, where in UK?
So I'm the northwest of the UK, England, Manchester, not too far from Liverpool as well.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where I'm based.
Okay. There's a Manchester near me too,
Yeah,
but I don't think it's the
yeah,
same.
not the same. No.
Definitely not the same.
We're famous
Um,
for Manchester United and various other things.
okay. Um, and then there's a pro fighter that's out of the UK, Michael Bisping, and so I think that probably brought a lot of positive attention to the UK as well.
Possibly,
Possibly.
there's a UFC fighter, Aspinall,
Yep.
who,
Yep.
yeah, he's from my hometown in Atherton.
Oh,
So
no way! I
there you
didn't know
go.
that. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even know he was from the UK. I know the name, but I don't know much about him. I just know he's dominating right now.
I've seen him in the streets.
Really?
That's about it.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. So, how did you get started with being a referee?
So I've always been interested in wrestling since I was a very, very small child. About 1988, 1989 is when I started getting into it. So I've always loved it. Believe it or not, I'm actually not someone that likes being the center of attention. So I've often thought to myself, well, being a referee could be something that I be good at. I could, because I can put on a bit of a front.
Mm-hmm.
I can help people, still be involved. And I thought about that for many, many years. And a friend of mine was a ring announcer. And she advertised that they were looking for referees, the only referee school in the UK, I believe, up until that point. So that was about 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, and yeah, flying ever since, really.
Okay. So I like how you're thinking about it, because the referee isn't the center of attention, but they're a very integral part.
Yeah.
And they're there, and it's almost like a supporting character of a show is how I'm
I
seeing
love
it.
that you said that. That's the way I always put it to people.
Okay.
You get the referees, you get the commentary, you get the ring announcers. They've all got the same function in many ways. They are there to highlight the wrestlers and support them, support the ebbs and the flows of the match. But yeah, we are not the stars.
Right, right. And that's okay,
Yeah,
That's not, not everybody needs to be a star either, because if everybody's a star, nobody's a star,
absolutely.
you know? Um, all right. So I guess that makes sense, but have you tried wrestling at all? That's something I'm curious about, because you do seem like a big, strong guy.
Yeah, I mean, and that has its problems, if I'm honest. We'll come back round to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I never wanted to wrestle. With that being said, I felt it was a very, very good idea for me to learn the basics. So if I was ever in situations where I would need to take a few bumps, to take a few moves, that would help. But also, when you're in the ring and you're with these guys moving at quite a fast pace, it's good to know where bodies are going to fly, where moves are going to go, getting these little sequences in your head. So whereas I am absolutely not a wrestler, I have picked up some things. I've been on courses at one of the premier wrestling companies in the UK, Future Shock. So I can do some things, just enough that betters my role, again, without ever wanting to actually be in a proper match.
Mm-hmm. All right. So tell me, what is the craziest experience you've had as a referee so far?
I mean, it's probably going to be one of these bumps that I've taken. So there was a segment in a match towards the end of last year, I think it was, where the heel referee, the heel wrestler, the bad guy wrestler, he was on the apron and he ran to the good guy on the outside where I was there, got a knee in the face. That took me out for just enough time for shenanigans to happen.
Mm.
But everyone that I've shown that to says that's one of the better bumps that they've seen. Certainly got a lot of emotion for the crowd. I think as far as moments I'm most proud of, there was a recent show, tribute show from a little boy that lost his life not so long ago, and his best friend was in the ring, and basically there was a section of wrestlers from all across the northwest of the UK, and at the final fall of the match, got this little lad in who covered, got the 1, 2, 3, and just being in there with James Roddy is his name, and signaling he was the winner, was close to tears.
That
So
probably
yeah.
meant the world to him.
Yeah, I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so.
Wow. I can't even imagine getting to do that. How old was he?
I'm not too sure. He's in his 20s, but he's got primordial dwarfism.
Okay.
So yeah, and he's experienced a lot of loss. But
Mm.
yeah, it was a hell of a moment.
Yeah.
So that was only a few weeks ago, really. So
Wow.
that one stuck with me.
That's amazing. So, as a referee, you're obviously part of the storyline, and you have to be able to. How does that all work? How do you play into it? How do you play into the crowd? What kind of things do you need to be aware of? And what are things that, you know, might arise that are unexpected?
Okay. I mean, obviously, you again, as I said, you're the supporting staff in there. You're there to showcase what they do, and there could be several different ways you do that. The most important way is probably getting out of the way and not drawing attention to yourself, which can be challenging for someone my size, because obviously I am a big guy.
Right.
So that can be challenging. But yeah, you basically you stay out of the way for the majority of the action, and then you can add little things when is needed. So that could be that to get over the fact that the bad guy wrestler is cheating. That would be a point where you'd be very verbal, very very physical with your hands. Say, hey, come on, stop that. Really conveying to the audience that this is a problem and this is something that you're not going to stand for until he does it again, and then that gets even more heat on him. Obviously,
It sounds just
as
like
I said,
acting.
well, it is. It
Awesome.
is very much so.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
But it's. I always say, because people ask, is it a character I've got? And so yes and no. It's a very boring character, something that's not going to take away from anybody else. But I like to think of myself as disappointed dad. So everything that I do is through the lens of, oh, come on, guys, what are you doing? And making that sort of verbal and physical cues. Again, what I've got to realise at my level of wrestling, which is some of the lower shows in the UK, some of the medium shows in the UK, not the actual top tier. A lot of these people have not seen wrestling before, and that was especially true of the show I mentioned a few minutes ago. So there's a lot of education you're doing in there as well. You're telling people what the rules are. So, for example, if someone is on the outside of the ring, you'll play into that and say, hey, come on, guys, you've got to get back on the inside of the ring. You've only got till 10. So you're being that educator and helping the ebbs and the flows of the match. As with everything, everything builds up in these wrestling matches. You'll have seen it yourself. So the more the match goes on, the more aggression you might be in your ref, the more they might highlight certain things. Their arms will get bigger, their counts will get more dramatic, and it's all subtle ways of trying to assist in that storytelling. Obviously, if something goes wrong, you've got to be prepared for that. I was at a show a few weeks ago where someone was taking liberties with somebody else in the ring, not intentionally, I don't think, but they had to calm down. And you've got to sort of get in between them, do the verbiage so it doesn't look like there's a problem, but then say, come on, ease up a little bit. Fans want to get involved sometimes, so you've got to be that barrier in between the performer and the fans without taking away what that performer is trying to do. So if you've got a bad guy performer saying all this in your mother to somebody at ringside, you've got to sort of get in there sometimes and make sure, okay, let's push back a little. Sorry, madam, do apologise. You know, stand back here. You don't need to be too close to the ring. So yeah, you've got to be involved in that as well. There was a show a couple of weeks ago where an elderly woman was going to stab someone, I think, but yeah, it didn't get that far, thankfully. Wow. But yeah, it can happen.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's a good thing that they didn't get stabbed, but also in my mind, I'm glad she has a knife, because as an elderly woman in the UK, you should probably have one.
I mean,
I would imagine.
It wasn't a knife,
you know?
but it was certainly implements in a handbag, etc. And she was reaching for something.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, don't want to involve the police in this.
Yeah.
A big one that we've missed as well, obviously, is the fact that at any point in the case of a match, someone could get very seriously injured. So it's very, very important for referees to have some sort of a knowledge of first aid, to have some sort of a knowledge of concussions and concussion protocol, ideally, which is something that's often overlooked.
Yeah.
But it can only help you if you've seen someone take a tumble on the back of the head. Every single time you go over to that person is going to say, "Oh yeah, I'm fine, absolutely fine." They're almost never okay. So it's up to you then to sort of say, "Okay, that's enough. It's time to put an end to it." I'm sure you've seen on TV,
Yeah.
TBX. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
You're trying to keep them safe, basically.
Yes.
So it's just like, so it's almost like you're acting and doing a role, but at the same time you are actually having to be a ref, and you are actually
Yeah.
having to do referee type of things.
Yeah, it's not as much of a separation as some might think.
Yeah.
In your head, you've got to be thinking of the rules constantly, and you've got to be enforcing those rules where you can. Obviously, some leniency has got to come somewhere, but yeah, you are very much in charge of the flow of that match at times.
So did you learn most of this as you went, or did you learn from somebody, or did you work with somebody? How did the training for it go?
So with referees in the UK, the vast majority of referees are sort of just handed a shirt. Oftentimes, unfortunately, it will be people that may not be at a level where they could be a performer, but they are still wanting to get involved. With me personally, we were me and several colleagues were part of a group of like a trainee school out of Future Shock, and again, the great British referee James Greenwood runs that. So we had about 6 months of training. Training continued after that, before my first show. So we were doing lots of trainee matches beforehand.
For
And again,
being in front of a crowd. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's smart.
Again, safety is paramount, so
Right.
you've got to make sure that you can do the job before you get in there and just do it. And again, it's the little things that can make or break a match that you need to learn. I feel you need to learn for months before you actually even get in that ring and start doing it.
Yeah. And then it's probably important to do all that training too without a crowd, because once you're in front of the crowd, you have to be at a point where you aren't going to screw up, where you're going to do
Yeah,
everything as you need to. And like, because you don't want to mess up the show is the whole thing of it,
yeah, and
and it's
screw
easy to
ups.
do.
Yeah, I mean, screw ups happen. I mean, Charles Robinson. I don't know if you saw something that happened to him last week.
No.
Um,
What's that? What happened?
so I believe it was SmackDown. I'm not up with the current product at the moment. I struggle to find the time for it.
Same.
But there was a sequence where someone was getting pinned just out of his eye line, and he just didn't go for the cover. He didn't go to slap the mat, and it's so rare for a man like that to make any sort of mistakes. He went on social media and apologized for it. But these sort of mistakes do happen, especially at the level that I'm at, on the sort of the lower and the medium shows. The mistakes do happen, and it can completely take the air out of the room when they do happen. So if someone kicks out but you count three, or if you don't count three and somebody hasn't kicked out, these things unfortunately do happen with everyone. And sometimes you got to cover for it the best you can.
So, do you know who is going to win ahead of time?
That's the key question, isn't it? I will say this: we do a lot of prep behind the scenes for each match, but ultimately, if someone's shoulders are down, you count those shoulders down.
Okay, gotcha. So you're following what is supposed to be, as opposed to what what's written, because it's
Absolutely,
gonna
and
basically follow what's written down. So you're following along as you go, I guess.
yeah, and you've got to be flexible enough to make those changes on the fly, because again, if someone isn't supposed to win a match, but their shoulders were clearly down. You've got to count those shoulders down, otherwise the credibility goes.
Yeah. Okay. So the promotion that you're working for now, you said that Future Shock?
Well, to be honest, I don't work with one specific
Okay.
promotion. I work for about 20 promotions.
Okay. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have a favorite promotion that you like to work with, or no? You don't have to
Not
say if you don't
really.
want to.
No, no, no. To be honest, I would, but not really. I would say that there is three promotions out there that probably have a soft spot in my heart. But I love the guys at every promotion. I think Grand Pro Wrestling in Wigan, home with the Dynamite Kid, British Bulldog. That's where that whole thing started. That's my local promotion, really, and I used to go watching that as a fan. So that will always be a place in my heart. Future Shock, as we mentioned, they're who train me, so I'm gonna love working with those guys. Odyssey Pro Wrestling in Morecambe. Those guys, that's where I debuted, and there's no fans like the ones at Odyssey. Such great fans there.
Odyssey.
This is Wrestling's also great. Working with another promotion at the moment called Infinite, and they're really building up. I could probably go on and on and on, but I think those are the ones that really matter to me.
The most.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Cool. So this is a question I usually ask wrestlers when we do the podcast. And, it might not apply to you because you're not, trying to be a wrestler. But I usually ask them, if you could have a dream match with anybody, who would it be? So I don't know if you have an answer for that.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm still involved in the match. So I'm very lucky that I have done most of the things that I wanted to do. So I had a list of working for my home promotion, GPW, managed to do that. Helping young kids in the academy shows, I've done that. Working with one of my favourite independent wrestlers, Session Moth Martina, I've done that. Worked with the former world champion in Rhino. I've done all this, so I don't really have anything that I want to do now. I think possibly working Ireland, because if I work in Ireland, then I've done England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and that sort of something. I think I'd love to work with. She's just been released. Isla Dawn. I really liked her as a performer. She's hopefully going to be coming over here. I'd love to work with her. Grizzled young veterans. I've got ties to them via my trainer because he was involved in when they were running a training school.
Okay.
I'd love to do that. But I think really for me, especially because I'm getting on a bit. Really, I'm 43 years old now. I just want to keep going as long as possible, get as much mileage out of this as I can, work with as many different people as I can. So it's more about just the overall experience than a particular wrestling match.
Okay. So you mentioned getting to work with Rhino from the WWE. What was that like? That must have been huge.
Great. Luckily, I'm not nervous when I'm in the room. That all comes afterwards or beforehand. Yeah, really good. Like a day off. There was no drama. Had a great sense of humour. It was a great match. It was an ECW rules match again at Future Shock. So it was a 6-man tag with him and then 5 of the other biggest stars in the Northwest scene. Yeah, I mean, when you're talking to the Rhino in the middle of a match, and then afterwards he comes up to you and says, "You've done a great job."
That's awesome.
I could retire tomorrow.
Yeah, that's huge. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was my reaction at the time.
Yeah, I would be in shock if you told me I did a great job. Yeah. That's awesome.
I mean, I'm under no qualms. He won't remember me now.
Well,
even though we've got pictures, he's a busy man.
Right.
Yeah, really incredible experience.
Just kind of how life goes,
Yeah.
And All right, next question. If you could eat just one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a tough one. I'm going to be pretty basic and just say a hamburger because there's so many different things you could do to that hamburger to give it a bit of life.
Mm.
And I'm quite basic.
I like hamburgers. They're usually cheeseburgers though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
either or. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I personally, I will add hummus to it and
Okay.
mayonnaise and sometimes
Yeah.
mustard, but not always. It really depends how I'm feeling, you know.
Have you tried
And then
English mustard?
there's a seasoning. I don't know if you guys have a Red Robin's out there, but there's a Red Robin seasoning. I don't even like the restaurant, but they have a good seasoning, and you put it on the burger, and it's just, oh my god, it's like, I don't know, it's great, it's amazing.
No, we
Um,
don't. We don't have Red Robin over here. We've only just started getting
Wendy's,
Wendy's. So
okay.
yeah.
Well, I think Red Robin's is probably closer to like an Applebee's. I don't know if that it makes sense as a comparison for
I
you.
know of
It's more of a
Applebee's.
restaurant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's more of a restaurant, less of a fast food.
Got
Um,
you.
yeah, but you guys just started getting Wendy's out there.
Yeah.
Wow, we've
Just
had it
cropping up
forever.
every now and then.
Okay, all right. Um, so is that where you like to get hamburgers, cheeseburgers, or no?
There's none of them that are that close to me. So I have had them before, but the nearest one to me is probably about an hour's drive away. So not
Got
worth it.
it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Like for me, the closest one is probably 30 minutes away or so.
Yeah.
So I don't really go, you know? And I'm like it would have to be on my way
Yeah.
to somewhere,
Exactly.
you know? And even then, I'm pretty cheap, you know? I would rather buy food at a grocery store because
Hmm.
I know I'm going to get better quality for like the same price as what I would get at home, you know?
I
Because that's where
need
it's
to be
going.
more
It's going
like
home,
you.
you know?
I'm so busy at the moment. I'm eating too much fast food, and for a guy that's my size, that's bad.
Mm.
But it's just difficult. It's just really difficult.
Well, I mean, you just got to find what works for
Yeah.
you, and as long as you're being active, you know, you can't necessarily outwork a bad diet, but like it certainly helps being active, and
Oh yeah.
you know,
I'm more
you're
active than
plenty
I
active
look.
being a ref, you
Yeah. Oh
know,
yeah.
so
Um, we said that it's kind of like doing very very bad burpees every few seconds because you're constantly down and then
oh
up
yeah,
again. And one of the most important things about being a ref is being visual, like I mentioned. So you can't just one thing that drives me insane is when I see referees on the floor just stick their hands up like that. No, get your entire body up and tell people. So yeah, I'm doing that. I don't know, 30 or 40 times a match. That's yeah,
how many
I'd
matches
be
a night
bigger if
do
it
you
wasn't.
usually do?
So say again.
How many matches a night are you usually doing?
It honestly depends on the promotion. Some promotions just have one referee. Other promotions will have multiple. So that'll often depend. I mean, to give you an idea, on Friday, the last Friday gone, I did two matches and a rumble. But the week prior to that, I did 13 matches in one night.
Oh
So
wow,
it can very much vary.
that's a lot.
Yes.
Okay, and so you're getting up and down 30 times a match, and you're doing,
Probably not, but
you know,
close enough. Yeah.
okay, all right, all right. Well, just some basic math. Let's call it 20. All right, and that's like 10 matches. You know, that's 200 burpees right there.
Yeah.
200 burpees
Exactly.
right there every day. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty good. That's really good, actually.
Yeah.
Most people are not doing that. You know,
No.
and
No, they're not.
yeah, yeah. So that's pretty good, especially if you can do it explosively. You know,
Yeah, you've got to. Otherwise, why do it?
right, right, right. Because you gotta, you know, it's part of the
Yeah.
show. Yeah. Um. All right. So, last question I got for you is, and I just lost it. Give me 1 second. It'll come back to me.
It's okay.
But I guess for now, do you have any stories that you want to share related to being a ref or your experience with it so far?
I mean, I would just do the age-old thing to any wrestlers that end up watching this. Talk to your ref. They may see things differently to you. They may give you a perspective that you're not used to. And ultimately, if you're a good ref, you are trying to help. And yeah, I would just say talk to us, because a lot of the times, unfortunately, especially with wrestlers that are quite new on the scene, they won't talk to us. They will focus on their opponent or their tag team partner, and we'll find out a lot of the stuff actually in the ring. But yeah, always talk to your ref. They are something to utilize.
Okay. So the question came back to me. If you could be any animal, what animal would you be?
Well, I'm built like a rhino, and he's come up in conversation before. That feels like a reasonably good living if you're not being hunted.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, relaxing, got the heat out there. But yeah, I mean that's the joke answer. I mean, obviously it'd be a cat. Cats are just, they've got not a care in the world. Cats. So yeah, that's what I would be.
Okay, it'd be a cat. I
Yeah.
would not have expected you to say cat.
It's because
I was thinking
got a cat, and
okay.
he
Yeah.
pampered. Yeah.
I was thinking bear would be what you would guess.
A lot of people
Like,
think bears when they look at me.
Yeah. Just because, you could tear somebody apart like a bear.
Yeah, but I'm too polite.
Yeah, you're too nice for that, I guess. That's okay. I'm too nice too.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how it is. All right, so that is all I've got for you today, and thank you for joining me. And we can definitely do more podcasts in the future. I will let you know when this gets uploaded. It'll be on YouTube, Spotify, and then I'll put out clips as well.
Nice.
So awesome. Well, nice to meet you today, and we'll talk again soon.
Great. Thank you.
Water. Hey yo, I'm Coach Bergen, living in my dome. World's a sec, got cameras in my home. Every crush I had, man, they played a role, but I'm done with the script, time to take control. Used to vibe with this one, thought a story would soar, cast her as my co-star, but she walked out the door, then another came. Damn, she had that spark, but I'm Truman in this movie, sailing past the dark. Heartbreaks, just a plot twist, I'm learning the game. Old loves in the rear view, no need for their names. This ain't a rom-com, it's the Coach Bergen flick. Every scene's mine, yo, the director don't quit. It's the Coach Bergen show, I'm the star, let's ride past love's old crushes, yo, I'm waving goodbye. Life's a movie, I'm Truman, breaking out the frame. Write my own script, ain't no one to blame. Coach Bergen show, yeah, the credits gon' roll. Let go of the past, now I'm free in my soul. Time clocks the spot, and there she was like fate, yo, connecting the dots. But to have her in my life, she wasn't down for the role. Like Truman's girl for Fiji, it's out of my control. Of course, it's a TV show, plot's wild, no doubt. Born on Valentine's Day, heart's been tossed about. All these women in my script tearing me apart, but I'm flipping the page, new chapter, fresh start. It's the Coach Bergen show, I'm the star, let's ride past love's old crushes, yo, I'm waving goodbye. Life's a movie, I'm Truman, breaking out the frame. Write my own script, ain't no one to blame. Coach Bergen show, yeah, the credits gon' roll. Let go of the past, now I'm free in my soul. See the crowd in my life, they all clap for the kid. Done chasing shadows for the love that I did. This my Truman moment, sailing out to the edge. World's fake walls can't hold me, I'm jumping the ledge. Every crush was a lesson, every tear was a take. Every late night text was a choice I'd remake. Now I'm editing the cut, snipping out the pain. New scenes dropping daily, sunshine after rain. So here's to the Coach Bergen show, curtains up, let's go. Old flames in the credits, I don't need them no more. Simone, like that girl who was moving to Fiji. Truman vibes, I'm free, world's mine, you don't see me, yeah. It's the Coach Bergen show, fade to black, I'm whole. Next act's all me with a brand new soul.